Hi, I'm Avery,
I am Lily.
and I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut. Okay, welcome to From the Closet.
You
We're
stole
doing.
that from the first recording,
I'm pretty sure I didn't say that the first recording.
and then I said
Anyway.
it after you had nothing else to say.
But anyway, welcome to From the Closet. Today we're covering Iron Man 2 for the second time because I lost my side of the audio for this episode. So we're doing it again.
Honestly, I thought I'd have been the first one to fail to properly save something.
Yeah, no, it was me. So yeah, so there's a lot of things that we're gonna have to, just the format's gonna have to change a little bit because this is a re-recording. For one thing, we won't be spinning the wheel at the end because we already spun it in our last recording, and it landed on Lady and the Tramp, which we have already recorded.
Yeah, let's just say this was a very last minute. We already thought we thought we had everything covered.
Yeah, I mean, if you follow us on like Twitter or did you post it on Instagram?
I did not. Instagram is so
You
weird with it's the photo thing. Like you need to have a photo. Like what? How am I supposed to post it on there? Like it's just And besides, we don't have any followers on anything. Oh,
I mean,
but did you know? You could have known about this beforehand if you followed us on Twitter, maybe Instagram
yeah.
if I get better grasp on it.
Anyway, yeah. Our Facebook doesn't work, and I think we deleted our link to the Facebook account. Um,
Yeah.
okay. So, anyway, this movie, oh my god. This is one of the few MCU movies that I really don't like. Because it feels like they shoved. It feels like they shoved like pitches for plots to several different Iron Man movies into a single one, and it just doesn't work well. And another thing that kind of, you know, creates some drawbacks to it as well is it feels like it's um a bit more of a trailer for the Avengers than it really should be.
Yeah. And they're just pumping that just full of advertisements with Avengers.
And then I would also say that it probably has my least favorite villain in the entire MCU. I don't like Whiplash at all.
No, I do kind of like him when he's not a villain, mostly because he insults everyone else and is funny.
No, like he's literally a villain throughout the entire movie. Like the first thing he does is like cry like a little bitch when his father dies. Like it I don't know. It's just it's not the normal
Hmm.
reaction I would expect to see when your father dies. He literally just screams, and it sounds like a 14-year-old trying to be edgy and screaming.
Hmm.
It just feels forced. And then, you know, it goes further, and he's like, oh, every single time he gets defeated, he's like, oh, you actually lost. He, he, he.
Never
I
so
mean,
cryptic, that one.
no, like Zemo does a better job at that, but we'll get to Zemo. Because Zemo actually sets out to achieve a goal, and he actually achieves it. Even though he ends up in prison at the end, he still technically won by every measurable account. But we will get to that movie. Anyway, um, God. The other thing, too, is like his motivation. Okay, Whiplash's motivations is just like, oh, your father deported my father, and then the government of the country he was deported to sent him to Siberia where he died. Therefore, I'm gonna come and kill you. It's like, it's one of those stupid things that I really hate is the sins of the father trope. Because to me, it's like, oh, I got bit by a snake. No, 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 no. My great grandfather got bit by a snake. So now I'm going to go out and kill a different snake and I'm going to call it revenge. Like, that's what it feels like to me.
Not very smart, but I mean, amazing story progression. I mean, that stuff is used in a lot of stories.
Yeah, I really don't like the sins of the father trope. But anyway, uh,
And in real life, I mean, God, I've seen
so
it quite a bit.
So there's too many plot threads going on in this movie. The arc reactor that's keeping the shrapnel from the bomb in Iron Man 1 out of his heart is also killing him. Um, and,
Now
you know,
I
he's got
think
to try.
about it, how the hell is it killing him?
It's basically like the material is toxic. But anyway, then there's also, you know, the whole storyline of Tony making Pepper the CEO of his company, and also he's in love with her. Um, And then there's the government trying to get a hold of Stark's tech, which, knowing what I know about later, whoo boy, that senator, no wonder he was so hellbent. Anyway, um,
I mean, how is he even still a senator in this movie?
I mean, but like, anyway, there's also uh, Justin Hammer trying to replicate Stark's weapons, and he's doing a terrible job at it because he can't even make anything. Um,
Okay, let's just talk about Justin Hammer. I felt like he was more like the villain, or the person lacking brain cells throughout the movie.
I mean,
Yes,
okay, both of the villains in this movie suck. Like, I don't like either one of them.
but it's just like, yes, let's release this person out of prison. That'll solve all my problems for sure.
Oh, but like, even though I've mentioned like 5 or 6 different plot threads, I'm still not done. That's the crazy thing. Then we have Natasha Romanoff investigating Tony Stark to decide if he's worthy or not for the Avengers.
Though,
Like,
like, a lot of
uh,
these plot threads would definitely be terrible as original movies. Though, way too much happening at
there's
once.
just too many in this one movie. And that's the problem. It probably should have been 2 or maybe 3 movies. Um, but then again, knowing what they did with Iron Man 3, I think it's good they stopped after 3. Um, but anyway, yeah, too much is going on. So anyway, we kind of start the movie with the government trying to get their hands on Stark's tech. He's like, no, you can't have it. They bring in James Rhodes to like testify, and that character's gotten a actor switch because he was played by Terrence Howard in the first movie, and now and from this movie onward, he's been played by Don Cheadle, um, who I think did a better job. Um, there's a slight cheeky nod when he eventually steals one of the Iron Man suits, where uh, Tony Stark says, "You want to be the War Machine? Go ahead," and that ends up actually being the superhero name for him is War Machine. But then, like, we kind of figure out when like Nick Fury shows up that he didn't really steal it because like like Natasha says, like Tony Stark has redundancies in place to prevent unauthorized usage, which means that he already authorized James Rhodes to use the suit before James Rhodes went in and stole it.
You don't
Bef-
steal from Iron Man.
yeah, it's like Tony let him walk away with it, essentially.
Because the main thing in the movie, Tony's dying and going through grief.
Yeah, and speaking of Tony's dying, we have this whole thing about like how he's trying to find a new core for his arc reactor, and like that plot thread gets resolved from like Nick Fury showing up and giving him some stuff that you belonged to his father, and it contained the blueprints for a new element, which apparently is impossible to synthesize. And Tony synthesizes it by being smart and doing it. There's not really much of an explanation.
Mm. Maybe Nike does have a point with that slogan.
Yeah. And yeah, I totally stole that joke from pitch meetings, and I don't care. Um, but anyway, it's also like during this scene where Phil Coulson shows up, which like having watched the first season and quite a bit more of Agents of Shield, like most of season two. I haven't finished season two, and I probably won't get the chance to because Agents of Shield is leaving Netflix, and Marvel hasn't announced any plans to bring it anywhere else. But
Wait,
anyway, like
if
having
it's
watched,
owned by Marvel, then wouldn't it be going on Disney Plus versus some weird thing with licensing?
it's they just have they've said they don't have any plans currently to bring it to Disney Plus.
That's weird, especially their parent company would probably be um very disappointed in them.
Yeah, it's a lot of weirdness all around. But anyway, oh yeah, and the thing that makes it even weirder is it's on Disney Plus in Canada.
Of course, the Canadians.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So having watched a small chunk of that series because it is 7 seasons long, and I've only seen season one and most of season two. I have a lot more appreciation for Phil Coulson than I did from watching the movies. Um, but anyway, he shows up in this movie, and he kind of like we get this scene that literally is just dropping hints for Captain America and for Thor. Um, and like the Thor hint is more subtle. He's like, and actually, speaking of which, even Nick Fury dropped hints for Thor because Nick Fury said something like, "I have problems in the Southwest that have absolutely nothing to do with you that I need to be attending to right now." And eventually, Phil Coulson gets stationed in New Mexico, which is in the Southwest. Um, yeah, and we see like that followed up on in the end credit scene where Thor's hammer is just sitting in the ground there. And hey, what do you know it? That's the next movie in the MCU is Thor.
And the next movie after that is, well,
Captain America. Yeah, we'll get to those eventually. But anyway, uh, what other plot threads? Okay, so we resolved the Tony dying thing. Okay, let's talk about the Pepper becoming CEO and also he's in love with her. So at some point, Tony Stark makes Pepper the CEO of his company, and then basically there's a lot happening. She and Rhodey kind of get mad at him for being like a little what's the word here? Impulsive, I guess. When he's literally dying. Of course, they don't know it, but like there's this whole fight scene between James Rhodes and Tony, and it just felt kind of pointless to me. It felt like, oh, why are you so pissed off that he's trying to have fun at a party on his birthday?
Probably because, neglecting responsibilities and
It's not like he has any responsibilities. He's no longer the CEO of his company, and nobody's being attacked right now. So, like,
well, I mean,
there's
he's
not.
getting a lot of pressure from the government.
Yeah, but, like, fuck the government. Especially since the government is being controlled by people you don't know about yet. Anyway, moving on.
The rich? It's
No.
the old companies, I knew it.
No.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have no idea who it is yet. So
I
anyway,
was hearing about real life. My bad.
yeah, you'll find out who it is eventually. In, like, 6 movies.
That's not eventually.
But anyway, and I didn't count the number of movies, so it could be shorter than that, but it's
Oh,
around
God,
that
you did
number.
it.
But anyway, so we get this weird scene where Tony comes in to Pepper's office with strawberries when he's working on developing, that new. Well, he hasn't even really discovered the new element yet.
He's trying to discover a new
Because
element.
Yeah. Which, ironically, he discovers it in this scene in the office. But, like, he brings her strawberries, and it's the one thing in the world that she's allergic to. And he's like, this is progress. I knew there was a connection between you and strawberries. And I'm like, good God, how do you fall for this guy? Like,
Money?
he's an arrogant douche at this point still.
I mean, clearly that narcissism, but
Yeah, like, at least later on in the movie, he recognizes that he is narcissistic, but, like, good God. And then we have this Whiplash guy. Okay, so his father dies, so he builds a suit, goes out onto a racetrack that Tony had announced that he was going to be driving a race car on, and he starts killing people. And then Happy and Pepper show up, which, why did Pepper need to be with them? Because, like, only one of them needed to put themselves in danger to get Tony the suit. There was a
no,
whole
no.
reason they showed up.
They needed two people to be in danger
Yeah,
because
because movie.
tension.
Because movie. Movie's got a movie. But yeah, Whiplash shows up, starts killing people. Tony stops him eventually. I don't know why no one else was there shooting him, but hey, whatever. So he gets thrown in prison, and then Justin Hammer breaks him out to try to, like, get him to help him build some weapons. And yeah, it turns out this guy's smarter than Justin Hammer, which so are most
Who
people.
isn't?
um, yeah, manages to break past firewalls like it's nothing. Um, which just no, that's not how that works. Also, Elon Musk is in this movie. I don't know if I mentioned
Oh
that,
yeah. Wait. I mean, if he's breaking through Hammer's firewalls, they're probably like modified versions of Windows Defender.
but anyway, so he builds his own Iron Man suit that kind of combines it with his Whiplash technology and a bunch of droids, and they show up at the Stark Expo, and they start, like, and at the same time, uh, he takes over Rhodey's suit and starts trying to kill Tony with the droids and Rhodey's suit, which he's being held captive in. And there's this whole, like, sequence of events where, like, Rhodey is shouting out things that are happening that he can see on his heads up display. Which, side note, why doesn't he just black it? Because if you have remote access, you can absolutely black a screen. Um, it's something scammers do all the time. But anyway,
Hmm?
oh, God. So eventually, I keep wanting to call her Black Widow, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna call her Black Widow. Natasha Romanoff, because they don't ever actually say Black Widow, I don't think.
No.
Um, but anyway, she and Happy go to Hammer Tech, like because basically she kind of beat out of Hammer the location of this guy, Anton something, Ivan Anton or something like that, Anton
Yeah.
Ivan. Anyway, they beat out of Justin Hammer the location of him, and they go to they go to the location. Happy beats up like one security guard, while Natasha beats up like 20, which is admittedly the only funny scene in the movie.
No, you also have the donut scene.
I guess.
I found that funny. Though I will have
But
to be Nick Fury, just whenever he appeared in the movie, I I don't know, I just really like his character.
I mean, Nick Fury is a very entertaining character, as is Phil Coulson. But
Mhm.
you don't really get to see much of Phil Coulson in the movies.
But only the shows or whatever. The
Yeah,
one show you were telling me about.
yeah, Agents of Shield, which a lot of people will say it's a spoiler that he's in Agents of Shield. I literally wouldn't because it's in the trailers and it's in the first episode, and it's literally part of the premise of the show. So the people saying it's a spoiler can shut up. Um, but anyway, uh,
A spoiler for what? He's in the
you'll
first
find out.
episode.
You'll find out.
What?
Anyway, yeah, we're probably not going to cover the series unless we get all the way caught up and I don't know, we run out of series to talk about. Now, oh, and it also has to become available somewhere because that's a whole ordeal in and of itself. But anyway,
Mhm.
Christ. So they get to the room that he was supposed to be in, and he's not there because he's taken off, and he's going to fight Rhodey and Tony. After they've like destroyed a bunch of the drone suits, and for a while he seems to be winning, but then like this is a really short fight, and they very quickly do this thing where they cross the beams, which we know from Ghostbusters you're not supposed to cross the streams.
But they
But
did
they
it
do it
anyway.
anyway. Yeah, they did it anyway, and they defeat Whiplash, and yeah, that's kind of the end of it. He was supposed to be sentenced to death, apparently, um, earlier in the movie, which is odd. Like, everyone thought he was already dead. Which just like, how was his going missing not reported? Either that or like the guy that they replaced him with in the cell, that guy was reported dead. We don't really get like a concrete explanation. I'm kind of just speculating here.
Well, it's a world where they apparently needed superheroes. Everyone else was just pretty dumb.
Yeah, apparently most of these characters are dumb as fucking rocks.
Hmm.
Um,
Weirdly, that's the premise for Incredibles 2.
but anyway, and then this is once again another scenario where the bad guy has the same powers as the hero and uses them for evil, which we've literally done twice already. And guess what? They're gonna do it again and again and again. They're gonna keep doing it. Like, it really, really annoys me when they keep doing it. They've gotten better at it, but they still do it occasionally.
It got old the first time.
Uh, but anyway, yeah, I don't like this movie very much. I think I covered every plot thread thoroughly. Um,
We're still 24 minutes in, and you really want to have 30 minutes? But this time
yeah,
I can say fuck that we had to record this twice. This is our second time recording. And you know what? I don't really like spending that much time on one movie. In fact,
Ugh,
we don't even need to have to rate this because we were able to get the ratings from our other recording, at
yeah,
least from my recording that was saved.
yeah, which somehow still had my rating in it somehow.
It
I don't
was
quite know how that worked.
it was
What, did you
all
like
because of
repeat it?
my reaction. I'm only speculating on what yours because of how I reacted. But I know I definitely gave it a base 7. You probably gave it a 5.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm going to go with 5.0. Um, I think I'm going to agree with that because I definitely think it's like not the worst Iron Man movie. I definitely think Iron Man 3 is worse. And it's certainly not even um, like even Iron Man 3 isn't the worst Marvel movie. We've still got a couple of other bad ones to go through.
What do you
But don't
mean?
worry,
We
they're
already had the Incredible Hulk.
I don't even think the Incredible Hulk is the worst one.
I mean, you can watch a bad movie, but a boring movie.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue with the Incredible Hulk because it's like it's not necessarily a bad movie. It's just boring, which is worse than being bad.
Honestly, if I would rate it now, it probably would be lower, but not because of the movie, but because of having to go through this. I'm getting a bit more spite, but that's not really how I feel about the movie.
Yeah, and anyway,
So yeah, it's what I said, 7, 7.
yeah, 5 for
Honestly,
me.
the Camp, which is gonna be released the same day, um,
No, the Camp episode will have released yesterday for the viewers
get even better. Why did we decide to release this on Tuesday when we could just release both on Monday?
because I don't want to release 2 episodes in one day,
Fair
and
enough. I guess you're the one that has to edit it.
and upload it to both Mega and YouTube
Yeah, that's how I felt about this movie, or at least
Yeah,
right now.
it's just not very good. It thankfully our next movie is at least okay. It's okay at worst. Some people call it boring. I actually found it really enjoyable. Um,
Are you talking about Hulk? Not Hulk. Oh my god, why did I say Hulk? Thor, or the podcast next movie?
well, considering we don't know what the next movie of the podcast is, I'm talking about Thor.
Of course we know.
Isn't our next movie the free
Oh
movie of the
yeah.
month for March?
Mm.
At least I'm pretty sure it is if I'm remembering the dates right.
Actually, yeah. Even then, um, we agreed on something if we don't change our mind last minute.
Or if it, no longer becomes free. But we'll see.
We'll cross that
Um,
river when we get there. In fact, I don't know. It's a good time to bring up. Frick, our first free movie of the month is still free.
yeah, a lot of our free movies of the month are still free.
Um,
Um, but not all of them.
in fact, YouTube really wants me to watch it again, which is weird because I don't actually want. Wait, It was a cheerleader, right? I can't remember if it was that or the Hulk movie.
Okay, so I honestly don't remember. I know the first free movie of the month that we released was How to Train Your Dragon. Um,
No, that I remember was October.
yeah, but I can't remember if we recorded But I'm a Cheerleader first or Planet Hulk first.
Hmm.
God, it feels like forever ago that we covered Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
I mean, that was either August or September. And like, think about it. We've been doing this since August.
Hmm. You know,
Yeah, that's 7 months. And like, we've
Jesus.
officially been releasing them since October. So,
And
like,
still
and
barely
we're
any
about.
views.
I mean, we
Yeah.
get barely any views on other platforms. We do get a decent amount of views on YouTube.
That's true. Though since it's your channel, I can't actually look at any of the statistics. I can only
And
look
hey,
at
guess what? We reached 30 minutes. Yay. Um,
yay. Just reminder, you can watch it on Spotify, other platforms that we have. Follow
and
us
I
on
didn't.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp next
No, not next
wheel.
week.
Next
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah, the next time we cover a wheel movie, it's going to be Lady and the Tramp, which we've already recorded. Um, and let's not spoil the movie that the wheel landed on in that episode. We're going to leave that one a surprise. And it's a very pleasant surprise.
And
Wouldn't
you're
you
also,
agree?
yes, I would agree, but you're also have to remind me after you're recording what the hell the next one we're going to be recording right now. Because honestly, throughout this movie, I completely forgot.
Okay, I mean, honestly, I'm perfectly fine with revealing that. Because, okay, the one that we are going to be recording next, aside from Gravity Falls, because we're
Mhm.
about to record that one soon, and then we got to do the free movie of the month um, for March. But then after that, we're going to be recording The Princess and the Frog.
All right. So many movies to, record, before then, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Gravity Falls is going to be a three-parter, uh, which I believe we talked about this in our Camp Season 2 episode, but I'm just going to talk about it again briefly, just in case we didn't. For TV shows, we are going to be starting to split the episodes into multiple parts and then rating them at the end. Um, and the reason for doing this is our Gravity Falls Season 1 episode was so long that like I think it even went past our Lightning Thief recording.
Mhm.
Um, which like I had to actually trim down the Lightning Thief recording and cut out a lot of silence and just to make it better, and it was still over an hour long. It like after everything, the Lightning Thief episode was still about like an hour and a half long. Um, so yeah, it was rough. And I kind of don't want to record like I kind of don't want to be editing for a single episode for that long amount of time in one day just to get it out. Um, and also it takes longer to upload if it's a larger file. It's just a hassle. Oh, and it takes longer for the videos to render too.
Mhm.
That's another problem. Considering we upload these on YouTube in a video format.
No, you can't just
So
upload it in to YouTube in MP3.
imagine if you could, though. Hell, imagine if you could edit a video on the YouTube site.
Actually, I believe you can now.
You can do some minor things,
Basic
but you can't.
edits.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Even the basic stuff that we do for the YouTube videos for this podcast is not possible
hmm.
on YouTube's video editor. You can only do some very minor things.
Yeah, we should
Uh,
get a podcast editor.
like a person,
Well, if we get popular enough, maybe. But I don't know, a new program.
Audacity works perfectly fine. I don't really want to learn another a program to
Yeah.
just to edit the podcast for. And we're going on like long tangents about stuff that really doesn't even pertain to Iron Man 2. So anyway,
What really
y-
did pertain? No, Iron Man 2 went on long tangents is what Iron Man 2 would have wanted.
I guess. But yeah, there will be a link below to where you can buy Iron Man 2 or rent it, and it's also available on Disney Plus if you'd rather watch it on there.
And remember, if you want to learn more about what's happening with the podcast and know when these delays will happen, follow our Twitter because I post
Yeah,
stuff onto our Twitter.
yep.
I'm saying this like there's background music. There's background music in my head.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been Avery, and that's been Lily, and we'll see you next time.